Dear colleagues, friends, and citizens of Van Buren Township, the following is your State of the Township address. It is meant to highlight the activities and accomplishments of the last year in Van Buren Township government. And none of this would have been possible without your Board of Trustees, which I'd like to thank first. They are truly a passionate, caring group. No one person can do anything alone, and nothing, absolutely nothing we are presenting today could have been done without their creativity, their courage, and their dedication to the township that they hold dear. Business is booming here in Van Buren Township. Again, we have a new hotel. The Planet Fitness has moved in, and it is again proving that no business goes out of business in our central business district. Menards is slated for a July opening, and Speedway is ready to break ground. News that many have missed is the 1.5 million square feet of office warehouse building that is Ashley Capital is getting ready to break ground near Haggerty Road off E-Course. This is actually Amazon big. It's actually bigger than Amazon square footage wise. But Van Buren Township is not just taking in deals that come to us. If they don't fit the zoning and the character of our community, then we are walking away, period. We are not in the position that Van Buren must develop or build to stay financially solvent. We are financially strong, and we are getting picky about how we expand. We are not going to expand just to expand. Public safety. Some politicians search their whole lives trying to figure out what our community truly wants. Our community responded loudly that above all else, they wanted premier public safety. They voted in a $6.5 million public safety tax, and they voted it in by a landslide. This board heard you loud and clear. We have set about to rebuild our public safety department that can stand proudly as one of the best in the state. Our cars are being routinely changed out, and we are even going to try out our new F-150 police interceptor. We got a new patrol boat on the water, a new dive trailer, and we got those through grants to the Wayne County Sheriff and the Van Buren Civic Fund. And we reinvested in our 9/11 dispatch with the City of Belleville. Our new dispatch center was a $160,000 rebuild. It is now state-of-the-art technology. We have often been borrowing dogs for the canine groups from Canton to do tracking, among other things, and searches. But while we have just completed a search of our officers, and we have a new officer, Officer Barry, who will be our newest canine handler. We're getting a dog. The dog will be a German Shepherd. He's actually here. He's going through currently extensive training before he goes on duty. The money for this program is coming from our drug forfeiture fund. In addition, we now have a new fire truck. A new fire truck, it's only a few months old, almost $500,000. And when that's teamed up with our new $1 million ladder truck and our best-in-class fire halls that we've already built, Van Buren Fire will have one of the most modern fire departments in the state of Michigan. Again, one of the most modern fire departments in the state of Michigan. Equipment and facilities are good, but we need to keep the pipeline feeding us quality people. In light of that, we have made agreements last year to start a Belleville High School Fire Academy. In addition, we have negotiated a deal to have 2 police and/or fully paid fire academy scholarships with Schoolcraft College. We took our old ladder truck, which was unusable by the state of Michigan. They wouldn't even let us take it on runs, and we traded it for scholarships. I can tell you that other safety departments in the state of Michigan recognize that that when you start funding your own destiny this way, a community is stepping up to become one of the premier next level communities in public safety. And this board has worked very hard to establish its public safety community as one of those next level departments. Our supreme training has even led to Van Buren Fire opening this year a Van Buren Fire Academy. We have 6 future firefighters who will be in this first class. I don't know of anybody else that runs their own fire academy. In addition to training, we've been training with Narcan. Narcan is a drug that you administer to an overdosed opioid victim. But we've not only got a grant through the Detroit-Wayne County Mental Health Board, but we have helped get and train our brothers in Belleville and in Sumter, and have scheduled and already procured the drug for Superintendent Kudlak and the Van Buren Public Schools. It is an amazing drug, and while we have already gone through 17 life-saving moments with this drug, I can tell you we have saved people who are passed out with no pulse with this drug. Training is king in Van Buren. We train our board, we train our other boards to be better planners, trustees, clerks, treasurers, supervisors. We train our people on time management, abuse in the workplace, and recently we closed Township Hall and held classes on emergency drills including tornadoes, fire, and active shooters. We actually had live blanks being fired. Police officers sneaking around acting like they were shooters looking for the supervisor or a board member. They actually did it, and then they came back an hour later without us knowing and did it again. And then they came back and did it again. It's actually very scary, but it was the best training I have ever received. I thank them for allowing the employees to take part in this intense training. Thank you, Board. Clerk Leon Wright is always busy. He has updated himself with new tabulators, voter assistance terminals, high-speed terminals, and absentee ballot systems. Stuff that makes me yawn, but to a dedicated, serious, clerk-type person, this is exciting stuff. He is so excited that he is holding an open house with Sumter Township on these items for June 9th and 10th from 10 to noon. It's that kind of love for clerk stuff that made Clerk Leon Wright Michigan's Clerk of the Year, and we're very proud of him for it. Water and sewer is another one that kind of makes people yawn, unless you get a grant for $770,000 to assess your system. We did. You were required to do it anyway, and we got out in front of everybody else out there and received one of the very first of these grants. And so we got a lot of money to do it. We're going to do it. We're going to make sure that you've got the best system out there. Because of this, Van Buren has the lowest rates in the region. I want to say thank you to our Board of Trustees for making that happen, and our Water Board that works diligently to keep that up, and Director Taylor. Next, I'd like to talk to you about the Belleville Area Museum. Otherwise, it's known as the old Van Buren Township Hall. They had a great year. Its attendance was up 32% to almost 6,000 visitors last year. In addition, the Van Buren Civic Fund has awarded nearly $9,000 to the museum for new storage systems, exhibit parcels, a system to make descriptive plaques for the exhibits, and other museums type stuff. They also held their first fundraiser last year. It was a dinner. Of course, it was a packed house. When the Van Buren Township Board of Trustees were welcomed back, we had a board meeting in the city of Belleville in Van Buren's Old Town Hall. Belleville Councilman Tom Fielder gave a welcoming speech, and our board expressed its desire to keep the close relations with the Belleville area community strong. Perhaps we can do that again in a few years. I'm looking forward to doing that. Last year, the museum also got a lot of help from the REAL program. And that's the REAL program will be back again. That is our summer youth jobs program. I'll talk about that more later. Chuck Covington. Mr. Chuck Covington is a true honored citizen of Van Buren Township. He donated a much needed van that has a built-in wheelchair lift system. It is on the road now and working miracles every day. We wish the Covingtons all the love of our community. We can't imagine the grief of losing their daughter Egypt. And what a class family to follow that loss with making such a truly great gift to the community. We're truly blessed to have them being part of our community. The REAL is our summer youth employment. It's back. There'll be more than 30 kids this year. The board recognized the importance of this program to our seniors. The number of seniors that cried in my arms last year became a weekly thing. It was amazing. They thought they were forgotten. They thought they would have to move because they could not maintain their yards or their houses. They saw the beauty that they had created in their homes be destroyed by neglect, only to be reborn, this beauty, by a dozen kids having fun and making some money. If you want to feel good about yourself in life, get involved. It is amazing what they do. This program is expanding, and this year will include life skills and a day of corporate team building. They're going to solve mousetrap kind of ideas that they do with corporate executives would do. And then they're going to build a cardboard boat and try and get in it and take it across a pool. This is all grant funded by the Detroit Wayne County Mental Health Authority. And we're excited to do this again this year and help out people. Anybody with ideas that these kids could do, we'd love to hear about it. We're now talking about the Arden Bell Trail. The Arden Bell Trail, phase 1 is now in the books. Well, we know if it's funded, it will start. It's going to start on Huron River Drive and travel from Belleville to Riggs Park. It will be a bike and pedestrian and be between 6 and 10 feet wide. The board will decide where it will go from there in the future as money becomes available. This is a long-term project and it will take years to construct. We have to gather more grants and more money, and we have to decide which way it's going to go. The board will make those determinations. Next, we have Buren Park. Buren Park is off I-94. It is now open. It has a brand new pavilion and a new playscape for kids we built over the winter. You should go check it out. Again, these are more grant-funded opportunities paid entirely with grant dollars. If you're hearing a trend here about grants, we are getting very aggressive on getting grants. It's one of the ways we're expanding services without impacting our residents' tax dollars. I do need to mention that the Lake Ledger is officially back. It's now old news, but it has programming for everything in the Belleville area. Almost all the sports, senior, and youth activities are listed inside of there, whether they be private or governmentally funded. The Candy Loop at Clerk Park had a great Halloween. The Daddy-Daughter Dance is now a 2-day sellout event. And the Senior Health Expo, which has got Walt Rehobiak's turkey stuffed with Dearborn sausage that everybody loves, the lines actually were running out the building for that event. My hat's off to those directors, their staffs, and the volunteers that made that happen. Next, I'd like to talk about the DNR Park, the lake house, or whatever it's going to be. Someone said to me, is that still a thing? We are still in negotiations with the MDNR. They take a while. What is going to go there, I don't know. The board will make that decision, and they'll make it with community input. I am not an architect. I don't know landscape or design. My wife picks out my clothes for me. But I do know finance, and I know how to generate revenue. I love it like Clerk Wright likes his tabulators and election equipment. I have gone to the board and they have approved the technical expertise, both legal and accounting, that I needed to go after money aggressively. They have been very helpful. By doing that, we have actively gone out there and we had a goal of $2 million. We shot past that goal a long time ago. I am currently looking at raising over $5.5 million in corporate, not general fund, residential tax dollars. This is not residential tax dollars. We also hope to raise $1 million in state and federal grants, and we have requested about $1.5 million from the Van Buren taxpayer, which would be used to purchase the property, do the engineering, and provide matching grant capabilities to get more money. I believe that we can raise over $8 million with only $1.5 million coming from the local taxes. And I believe that I will have secured the corporate portion of this funding within the next 3 months. We will. So take a look at the numbers and ask yourself, we have pretty much a good plan going to $8 million. I believe we're close to 6.5, 7. Is this a thing? I think it is. As for the DDA has a couple of things that people keep on wondering if are going to happen, and they are. The first is our Pocket Park. The Pocket Park just went through the DDA approval the other day, and it is approved, and it will be breaking ground again in July. I believe that they're going to be scheduled to open up next year. In addition, you're going to see I-94 overpass on Belleville Road. It's going to go on the east side. This is going to be have some smart lights for crossing the intersections. It'll provide a causeway that we dearly need. It's a very dangerous thing to walk or bike across right now. But as you can see, we put a very inconspicuous reference to Van Buren Township, which we hid on the bridge, and I'll let you see if you can find it. Waste management. We have a new landfill deal. It provides stability to Van Buren's finances for the next 30 years. It shores up our long-term debt fund, which should be adequate for our needs going forward. Of course, we did lose free pickup. Van Buren Township is the last community that we know of in the Midwest that receives free pickup. We wish it could have continued, but starting in 5 years from now, we will need to begin paying for pickup. It will cost approximately $12 a household. It was a very difficult decision for the board, but they were tasked to make a tough decision, and I think they did their jobs very well here. The treasurer. The treasurer's office last year had a busy one. 43,000 cash receipts for over $66 million in deposits. She does a great job after 38 years of working for the community. What a lot of people in Van Buren already know is that I go to the other electeds often for help. It is a team dynamic. Clerk knows insurance, and is on the board and works the health insurance and labor contracts with Treasurer Bud. This year they got our health insurance, excellent insurance by the way, to go down 8%. Insurance claims were completed and we are now sitting on a pretty clean insurance claim backlog. We have no large lawsuits pending out there. Treasurer Bud knows costs and she knows every line item in that budget. Speaking of the budget, and I saved this for last on purpose, I have always said that the bottom level of good governance is balancing the books. The goal is a given, and no one should ever brag about it because it's your job to balance the books. We had a good year, but a lot of people think we spent a ton of money on stuff. We did, mostly in grants. But with the board's vision, we also reinvented the way we do business in Van Buren Township. We got aggressive on grants. We got them, we spent them, and then we went out and got more. We redid most of our ordinances so that not only can we be gentler to our citizens when they break the rules by issuing them warnings, but when we do have to fine them, the fines are not sent downtown to Wayne County courts. They stay here in Van Buren with a little going to our local courts. That's the way modern government does it. We redid our fee schedules with modern government practices to recoup whole department costs and get them off the general fund. We cut medical costs and we did not cut services. We saved nearly $500,000. We reached out to the corporate world to fund events and to fund future projects. So here's our budget. Van Buren's freshly audited books show a $1.9 million surplus of revenues against expenses. $1.9 million. Treasurer Bud has stated in her 38 years, I have never seen anything like it. This is teamwork. No one person does this. It's the board giving management the tools and directing the ship. It's the full-timers doing their job correctly, and it's the directors managing their budgets and coming up with innovative ideas to old problems. Van Buren Township is back. We are fiscally strong. We have a clear vision of the future and how we're going to get there. It truly is a good day to live in Van Buren Township. Thank you.